called that thing like Power Rangers, so I want you to talk to me about that. So first, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, so at that point, it was all instinct. There wasn't a lot of thought. You know, there was a real threat. There was a real danger there, and the goal was just to get to it, you know, and just take care of business. So it wasn't a lot of thought going through my mind.
But when you saw that device, what were the thoughts that you had in that moment? The two of you, because you're looking down at it. So if both of you could address that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I didn't have time to process anything. You know, I saw the device hit the floor, and I just ran. I knew that I needed to save lives, so I ran towards the people to make sure that nobody got hurt or anything like that.
I just think it's natural that in those moments, you know, you go right to your training, right? And there's things you need to do. Right? You need to get there, right? You need to go after the bad guy, right? And then you need to get people away from that device. And so that's what happened. It wasn't a lot of thinking.
We're going to fix my next. Chief, you've essentially gone viral because of the picture of you jumping over the fence. What are your thoughts of going viral, being called a superhero, and what is your family saying about all of this attention as well?
Yeah, first it's important to just remind everyone that it wasn't just myself and Sergeant Navarro there. We had a lot of cops there, and everyone did their job as best as we can ask. You know, in that moment, you know, we had to pivot from one type of policing to a different type of policing, and I think the way that we transitioned was really good. In terms of going viral, first off, I'm happy that I cleared that barrier. Okay? Imagine if I fell. You know, but to me, it was just instinct. I'm trying to get the bad guy. You know, I was in real pursuit trying to get him. And just, you know, the picture going viral, you know, I don't want that picture to be about me. I want it to be about the day. I want it to be about what we did. You know, I want that picture to be a reminder to New Yorkers that, you know, your cops, the members of the NYPD, you know, we're going to be relentless in pursuing justice, right? And there's going to be no obstacles. Nothing's going to stand in our way from protecting New Yorkers.
And your family, I'm sure, has seen the pictures. They don't get to see what each of you do probably on a daily basis as much as was documented on that day. So what's the feedback you've gotten?
Well, you know, I got into a little trouble at first, right? When the first picture comes out, you know, and Sergeant Navarro and myself are a little too close for comfort. The wife did send me a text message, but we've since made amends. You know, listen, I have a great support system, and sometimes I don't think people realize that when you are a police officer, when you're a cop, then, you know, your family, they're law enforcement too, and they have to do all of that time with you, and they have to go through all of the emotions, and you know, it's tough.
What did the text say?
So it was that photo, right, with the device and Sergeant Navarro and I, and it said "wrong way, sir."
She's the boss, right?
I'm only the chief at work.
Chief, can you describe for us what you were doing just before that picture, and then during the picture, and then after the picture? Can you sort of paint an image for us of how that all went down?
So, you know, we were walking, we were patrolling this demonstration, you know, kind of going back and forth, monitoring things. You know, we saw what everyone saw, and instincts to get kicked in to go after this suspect. I'll be honest, I don't even remember doing it. It was just trying to get to him as best as I could. I was trying to alert other officers to give me a hand so we can get him, and the rest is history.
And
I
then
think
right
that's
after you
hang
made it
on, Tony,
over,
one second. When you're touching the box, I think it's
All right.
when you made it over the barrier, then are you tackling him, or what are you doing right after?
That's as high level as we can get to
Okay.
the actual play-by-play. So,
Okay.
is there anything else you want to ask?
No.
Okay, I appreciate that. Serious? Yep.
So I'm sure you guys have been in plenty of dangerous situations before. Is this one of the more or the most extreme situation you guys have ever found yourself in?
That is definitely the most extreme situation that I've ever encountered in my 11 years that I've been on this department. There's nothing, I don't think anything's going to top that.
Can you tell us what was extreme about it? You said an extreme circumstance. What was extreme about it?
It's not an everyday thing. This is New York City. You know, we're always on high alert, but to actually see it, feel it, hear it, it's completely different than anything that I've ever experienced.
The chief said instincts kick in. Is that sort of a phrase you would use? How would you describe that moment, that fight or flight moment?
To me, it's training, right? We've spent 6 months in the academy. We've done countless of trainings. We've done counterterrorism trainings. We've done active shooter trainings. Everything that I've learned in my whole career culminated to that one moment.
I'd like to ask the chief a question, if that's all right. Somebody posted on the jumping picture, right? Somebody said, "I hear the theme to the Avengers when I see this photo." Did you hear the theme to the Avengers?
No, and I think everybody probably heard me screaming, "Get him, get him, get him."
Hey, we'll go over here. Yep.
Hi there. Can you just speak a little bit about your background and why you decided to join the NYPD?
Well, during the tragic events of 9/11, I was a college student, and I watched that unfold on television. And one of the images that always stuck with me was it was always the first responders. It was the cops rushing in so that others can get out. And after seeing that, I knew I was going to be a police officer.
Can you also?
Sure. Well, my story is not as great as his. I grew up in the city. I've lived in the city almost my whole life. For me, being a police officer was never in my future. It was never anything that I thought about. I had a good friend of mine. He came up to me and was like, one day he wanted to take the test, and I told him, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. I have no issues doing that. I did it with him. I took the test. Thankfully, I passed. And I always told myself if I was never at a place where I wanted to be in life and they called, then I would go. And here I am.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in, I was born in Puerto Rico, and I grew up in Washington Heights in the Bronx.
Can you talk a little bit about the parallels, Chief, about why you wanted to join to on Saturday?
I think Sergeant Navarro mentioned it's almost this culmination of, your entire career, your life experiences. There's something about this drew me to the profession, this idea of, protecting people and running into a dangerous situation so that people get out. And so, I've got 22 years of experience, and, I worked a lot of the protests and the riots, and the experience that I gained, working, large events like that. And then Saturday, it just felt like everything came together. It was, a situation that it was a demonstration and quickly pivoted to something so much more. And, out of instinct, maybe it was something that, I've been preparing for my whole career, but it was, I just wanted to get there. I wanted to get this suspect. I wanted to get people away from that device, and, I'm glad we were able to do it.
This was a protest, so when did you feel like things were starting to escalate to when it got there? Because people were fighting, and it
I don't think we can't go there.
go there.
Yeah. Thank you, though. We're going to go to Mac next.
Hi. Coming into the day, Saturday, did you have any inkling that things could reach the level that they did?
No, Saturday was going to be a demonstration that, that we handle. I've handled hundreds of them. And so this was just a demonstration. I knew it would be contentious. So we did have a nice contingent of officers there because we knew that the two groups would maybe go at each other a little bit, but I don't think anyone could have expected this.
Can you guys talk about your mindset since that day? I mean, I saw you that day, not only did you go be killed, potentially dozens of others could be killed. So how is that weighing on mind days?
That's a great question. So good. That's a great question. A lot of people ask what was going through your mind, and I've heard questions like, did you know how serious it was? And I can tell you at the time, no. But it's the moments after. It might have been about maybe 2 hours after, and Sergeant Navarro and I were talking, and it really hits you that this is a lot more serious than we may have even initially thought. And, all of those thoughts go through your head, But, we're cops. There's still work to be done. There was still work to be done. We had to push through it. The good thing is we have such a great support system in NYPD. We have people that, our officers can talk to. We talk to each other. This is my guy. We check in all the time with each other. And I think that's important. But also I want to say, and I saw it with the memes, the city really stepped up, and the kind comments that we have, and even kind of the levity of the turning into a meme and stuff like that, it's uplifting, and it definitely helps.
Great. We'll go right there.
be able to jump over?
I guarantee I would not clear it.
Were you an athlete in school?
You got to just do it.
Any other questions?
Just to clarify, Chief, you have 22 years on the job?
Yes.
Okay, and Sergeant?
11.
11 years on the job. And Chief, where were you born and raised?
Jamaica, Queens.
Any other questions, folks? We're all good?
Oh, you wanted to put the message to you in all caps, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It said, wrong direction, sir, in all caps.
It's okay before these guys leave, if we could remove Tony from the scene here.
Yeah.